Boys, how are we? For the first time since maybe Duke, I felt something tonight. Like, it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty at all. But that second half, there was this, AJ Storr maybe found something. Diggy Coit made a three for the first time since maybe the Duke game. But yeah, I don't know. We went from first half, I tweet, this team stinks. And the second half, I'm like, are we finding something? Is there some momentum? And I mean, AB, I'll probably go to you first because you've been as negative as anyone can be on this team. And I told you, I publicly stated that AB was right on Saturday. But you know what? Maybe you weren't. Maybe you were not. The Hawks with a big-time second-half performance. How are we feeling?
I mean, it was improvement, I guess, but I'm sticking to my guns that I don't think this is a championship-level team like some people thought it might have been heading into the year. But there are some signs of positivity. Storr looked like he played basketball before when he played tonight. That was good to see.
That was progress.
It is progress, yeah. We did see some four-guard. The thing that's holding me back is when KJ's healthy, he's going right back into 35 minutes a game, 32 minutes a game, whatever it may be. And, then we're going to be having the same conversation we've been having for a year now. So, I'm excited they played well tonight, but I don't think it changes my outlook on the whole season just due to the fact that at some point we're going to be – and it may not be soon. It may – we've got a stretch here where we're going to be – we might be underdogs on Saturday, which would be outrageous fun. At home at Allen, just a joke if that ever happens again. And then after that, we're favored 10 straight games. So there's a chance we might rattle off a bunch of wins here. I'm going to worry about once we get to March playing 6 straight good games of basketball with the core that we've talked about not enjoying that much. And, one bad half get India. We have plenty of those. So that's my fear, I guess.
Wow. Talk about an all-time vibe killer to start the show.
Well, what do you want me to do, Brian? I mean, it's I get told, I'm told I'm negative about him. I know I'm negative about him. But do you want me to lie to everybody? I mean, lie to you? You want me to act
we just need to pretend to have good vibes for the first 5 minutes of the show. But anyways, B-Turn, you've got the worst technology in the history of the podcast universe. But how are you feeling about the Hawks?
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, AB talked about it, just the core of guys, and we know it's going to be ugly some nights, especially on the road. So Shiambi was just talking about it. It's hard to win anywhere in the league. We've said that forever. I don't care who you're playing against. If it's some of the worst teams in the Big 12, there's been years where West Virginia's near the bottom. Winning in Morgantown's tough. So winning anywhere on the road in the Big 12's tough. And it is going to be ugly some nights. I mean, when you'll have Shaq Moore, DeJuan, Flory, and eventually KJ on the floor together. There's going to be nights where they might score 50 or 60 points, but they also can be as good as anyone in the country defensively. And some people might not like it, but I think you can win that way on the college level. Like AB said, maybe not for 6 straight games, but most teams that win an Natty find a way to just survive. They had that one bad game, it's Creighton, the year we won it all in 2022. So you just got to survive one round. I'm not saying they're a natty contender, but I think a lot of us had just said that we need one of those wings to step up. I thought it was going to be Ryland, and it shows you how much I overreact because, who did we play at home?
K-State?
No, it was the night me and AB. State. Yes, when we gave up 42 in the first half. I was convinced, AJ Storr's never going to play legit minutes at KU ever. Rest of the season, he's on Bill's shit list. He's done. He's in the doghouse. He looked awful. He had 4 turnovers in a row. None of his jumpers were close. And now tonight, I know Shaq Moore played a big role, but it felt like AJ Storr completely changed the trajectory of that game. Multiple runouts. He had a couple steals, caught a couple lobs. He hit a big jumper when the game was close. That game went from tight to KU up 10 when AJ went on a little scoring spurt. That's exactly what we've needed. It's the same team pretty much besides Zeke. And we said we needed a wing. We needed one to step up. We got Rylan and AJ. That's why everyone was excited this year. I think those guys played a role in KU's hype before the season being ranked preseason #1. So we've needed one of them to step up. To me, it looks like it's not just a one-game thing for AJ. He looked comfortable against K-State on Saturday too. He didn't go off, but he looks more comfortable and the game's slowing down for him a little more. And I think it shows when Bill lets him play a little more through mistakes rather than get him in, turn the ball over, yank him.
Yeah. It's it's bad when like I'm excited when AJ Storr just catches the ball and swings it. Like just a simple pass, and I'm like, yes, good job, AJ. Like I'm so fired up every time he just doesn't make a brutal mistake. So to see him not only run a little bit of offense, but then get a steal, get a putback, and you could just tell like that steal, something changed in him. It was awesome. And sometimes that's all you need. I'm not saying we're going to see, all conference player AJ Storr, but my goodness, if we could just get anything close to what we got tonight, that is a huge change. Now, to AB's point, like where are the minutes coming from? If when KJ's healthy, you're getting to the point where it's like Flory is tough to not have on the. Flory's been maybe our best player the last week or two. So I don't know. It's tough. AB, I'll ask you this. Like, I know it's hard to envision this team winning 6 in a row, but let's just say a Final Four run. Like, is there anything in you that says maybe the defense could be good enough to go get you four wins? Because you do have some talent out there. You could find a few games where Storr or Griffin get really hot, and you see that this team could play at a much higher level. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm talking myself into.
Yeah, it's going to have to be some nasty, nasty games, which I love. Braden called me out, rightfully so, for saying I'm down on this team, but being all in on Tony Bennett Virginia teams. Yeah, that might just be us, baby. We might be.
I forgot about that.
We might have gone into the portal and just gotten Tony Bennett's personality for Bill Self. That's why Bennett retired, because he didn't know how to play any other way. But I mean, they're 4 right now. Defense, Ken Pom, gotta respect that. Offense it's got some work to do. But yeah, why not? I mean, but like, what would the ceiling do you guys think? Like, do you think it's Final Four ceiling? Do you see that happening? I mean, they're still a 2 seed right now, so in theory, matchups could be favorable. Not that means everything, but it's not like we're drowning in the middle of a 5 or a 6 seed and gonna have to wear our road blues in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, I still very much, I think definitely this team could make a Final Four. Like, I know it sounds insane, but like, look, it's silly because 11 seeds make the Final Four. Like, obviously this team can make a Final Four.
We talked ourselves into a Final Four last year in a Big 12 championship last year. We
talk ourselves into anything.
We said there was a path with the 6th seed in the Big 12, and then we lost to Cincy by 100.
That was a joke. That was
the Timberlake show.
Dude, okay, so I did also have this question for you guys. Like,
sure,
if last year's team didn't happen, like let's just say this team was a brand new team where we did not see the Timberlake fiasco and the DeJuan KJ Hunter trio, like, had we not seen last year's team, would we be as quick to melt down as we are? Because if you just look at this team on paper, yes, they've had some bad losses, but they are elite defensively. And like in the last month here, or week, 3 weeks or whatever, they have 1 loss, and it was on the road at the number 2 team in the country in a tough place to play. Like, I don't know. So like and obviously last year's, the reason we are melting down so fast is we saw how it went. But like Zeke Mayo is 20 times better than Nick Timberlake. About called him Justin.
That's an unfair comp.
So like, I don't know. I think we're so quick to be like, oh, here we go again, same team. But like last year's team couldn't win a road game. This team's won their last 3, and 3 of their last 4, and one of them was by 51 points, which we need to talk about that game. One of the weirder games of all time. But what is your opinion on that, AB? Or B?
B-turn, go ahead.
I don't really even remember the question.
No,
AB,
to be honest, I got lost. No, I got lost with it too. And to be honest,
that's why you
here's where I go. Yeah, I didn't want to take the shot. Here's why I got lost. It's because you compared Zeke Mayo to Nick Timberlake when that's just. I mean, you got to compare like Diggy Coit to Nick Timberlake, which is an upgrade still in my eyes.
But that's my
Timberlake
point.
was never started. It's like is Timberlake.
My
I
thing with
think he
Zeke
has
is
been because he's different, but it's Kevin McCullough. Is it Johnny Furphy? Is it? And that's where I'm just trying to level us out and balance us out because the last thing I want is to get on here in like 3 weeks when we decide we're ready to record another podcast and us be let down because we lost by 6 at Baylor, I guess.
and it's gonna
in a couple
happen.
weeks.
Like we're gonna lose an
I
ugly
know
road
I
game.
did, but now that we've seen how it's happened, if that's the one I'll be wrong on, I guess.
By the way,
He's been awesome. Zeke, can I say, are we in the trust tree? Zeke and Flory are like the only 2 guys on this roster that I enjoy watching play.
Yeah, and if Flory can stay out of foul trouble, our upside with him is through the roof on both ends because you have a legit rim protector and you have a guy that pretty much finishes everything around the rim and gives you multiple extra possessions. I mean, he flirted with a double-double in the first half, and he might have had one if he didn't pick up his second foul, but I think he had maybe not he had close to 7 rebounds in the first half. So our ceiling with him, like KJ is obviously safe, really good defensively, but he's not going to finish around the rim every single possession or every single time he touches it. I just think Flory's upside and his length, like he could be one of the better rim protectors in the country. Because we know Hunter's obviously a good scorer, but doesn't have the highest vert. So we defensively, I think our ceiling is just even higher with Flory if he stays out of foul trouble. And I don't really know what KJ does better than Flory. And Flory's a true freshman. Like KJ, obviously Bill loves him defensively, but obviously
I mean, this
Flory's
is where
longer. He's going to finish around the rim better. And KJ doesn't really he's not a scoring threat outside of 5 feet. I know he's made pull-up jumpers from 10 feet floaters, but
this is where I just feel like I don't know enough ball because I guarantee like KJ's probably running offense better. He's probably setting better screens. He's probably still playing better defense, but maybe it's like off-ball defense. I don't know. Like I'm sure KJ does a lot of things that we don't see, but it's just like it doesn't feel like it's enough. Like we haven't those little things that you want out of a guy. It didn't feel like we've been missing those things because, like you said, Flory has been so good. So I don't know.
and they kind of both play with the same type of energy. Like Flory doesn't stop, and it's not even KJ's fault that he's not an elite rebounder. He's just not really built to be one. He has short arms. He's probably 6'5", 6'6", and you'll never question his effort or heart. We've always talked about how much we love him. I just think Flory gives you a crazy upside on the boards and as a shot blocker. Like Flory's the guy that can get 2-3 offensive boards in a possession. And you got a guy like Zeke, who we talk about guard play in March and how guards are going to carry you in that month. And why can't Zeke do that? I'm not saying he'll be great for 6 straight games, but Zeke is as good of a scoring guard as I think anyone in the country when he's going. Like he's a guy that can give you 20 points. He can hit 4 or 5 threes, and he's a great playmaker. Like Zeke is a type of guard that can help your team go deep in March. Obviously other guys got to step up too, but that's the type of guard we didn't really have last year. Even Kev, like Kev's not crazy explosive and not a crazy good shot creator. Zeke can score all 3 levels, pull up threes. He can finish around the rim, and he can create his own shot off the dribble. Kev wasn't really that explosive scorer that Zeke is. I think if Zeke gets hot in March, like he could be a Remy type guy. That's not even crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the most like exciting. He's the best like guy that can just go create his own shot that we've had in a while. I guess maybe you throw Remy into that, but like that was 1 month. So I don't know. My original question that you forgot I asked both of you because I rambled so
Sure.
long.
Sure.
It's just that like this team is in a much, to me, and maybe I could be wrong looking back, but like I feel like this team is in a much better spot than we were last year at this time. But boy, as I say that, I'm starting to worry that that could not be the case. I don't know. I just think Shaq more like you're seeing guys hit their stride right now, whereas last year there wasn't any of that. So other than Furphy.
Store seems hungry to me. I think obviously there were minutes open in the air between him, Rylan. A lot of guys hadn't stepped up. Shaq obviously did. Like it seemed like Shaq was on the outside looking in. And now I thought Rylan was going to be the guy that kind of separated. AJ Store has seemed hungry the last two games, like actually being active, getting on the floor, just playing hard. That's exactly what Bill wants. So that to me tells me he's buying in a little bit. And we just need one of those wings. Like you know what you're getting with DeJuan and KJ, but we need multiple guys that can score it consistently. And I think that could be him and Zeke, and then obviously you got Hunter in the post.
I love the chat. We've had B-Turn said Zeke could be Remy. Another person said Shaq could be Remy. And then another person said AJ Store could be Remy. What if we're all just Remys? What if everyone plays like Remy in March?
Remy's for everyone. You get a Remy. You get a Remy. You all get Remy.
All right. Speaking of the chat, AB, just so they'll stop asking, like the people are, the Johns, of course.
Sure.
Really want to know what AB had for dinner. We've had some Chipotle guesses. We've had some Canes. Let's go ahead and let the rest of the country know where you've taken your talents for dinner.
Here's the thing. This one's tough. Guys, I haven't had dinner yet.
Oh, no.
Wow. I sure haven't, and I'm debating what to do, to be honest with you. A holiday season recap.
Too early.
No, here's the thing with the 6 o'clock game is, you're just like, I'm not hungry for dinner before that, and the game's on. I don't think about it, and by the time you know it, game's over, and we're trying to set up a link, and it's 8:30, and I haven't had dinner. So that's all there is to it.
Thanks for clearing the air on that one.
Sure.
Okay, I did want to ask you guys. We have Houston coming up. I guess let's just start there. If we win Saturday, what is the vibe of the fan base?
It'll be excited because we'll be one game out of the conference.
I know, and our schedule is favorable.
I know.
It's tough because we talk about this all the time. At least for us, it's tough to take. And I know you should be excited, but it's tough to take big wins at Allen crazy seriously because it seems like we win over 90% of them, probably closer to 100% of them. Because like last year, we fucking shit pumped Houston at home. That team is way better than this year's Houston team. And I would say our team is a little better than last year's team. So obviously you're going to be excited. And we have struggled a little bit at Allen. We lost the Big 12 game and struggled in the first half against Arizona State. But obviously you got to be excited. It's one of the best teams in the country. And if our offense, if we make shots against that good of a defense, I think everyone has the right to be excited. I get so confused why everyone laughs.
Yeah.
Like why we talk. I always think it's like, it might be the chat or might be me repeating something or.
I need to shut the chat. It makes me laugh. And I don't know what AB's freaking out about though.
No, I'm freaking out that we lost a home game at Allen, specifically a home opener and a conference opener. And I know this was 3 weeks ago, but good night. I mean,
unbelievable. I mean,
14-point favorites or 12?
Yeah. Oh, joke of a bird.
Without their best player.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They lost at home yesterday to Arizona State, by the way.
Yeah.
It felt like we talk about this all the time. Like there's always games at Allen where even if we're down 10, you either just go live bet them or in your head, you never think they're going to lose. And down the stretch, we were right in it. I think KJ had a couple looks around the rim and Flory obviously fouled a jump shooter, but it never feel like you're actually going to lose there.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's just the schedule has been weird. We played I felt like non-conference was a week apart every game. We played Sunday, we played in the middle of the day during the week. I don't know. Just
I agree with
These Sunday 2:00 games are insane during football season. That UCF game, I didn't see much of it because there's football in.
I agree with the Allen feels different this year. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm getting older.
That's how we roll, baby.
But the crowds don't feel as energetic or electric. Maybe I'm wrong, Rye. You've probably been to multiple games.
That's what the chat. I mean, I don't. It's definitely. Gosh, what game was I at? It was that Sunday. The Sunday at 2:00. Who'd we play? Brown.
NC State, Brown.
Oh yeah, Brown. I mean that. But the students are gone. It's like so. I gave it a pass there. We'll see. Saturday better bring it because
Wasn't
I
it
really
sick
do
for Carolina?
Yeah, it was great for Carolina.
Yeah, so I don't think it's dead.
The big ones, yeah. That's when you start to get worried if it's not juice for the top 10 or ranked matchups. Did you go to K-State?
No, I was in California, but it.
Did you guys see there was only like 20 camping groups for that, by the way? That infuriated me. I know it's winter break, but come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Yes, so maybe there's something there. Maybe we should ban TikTok.
John F's going off on the kids in the comments.
John F., how old are you?
These fucking kids.
Actually, a great question. Do you guys have any guesses?
I have no
10 years
clue.
ago, you couldn't convince me we weren't.
But seriously, like Saturday to me is such a massive game because you win that game. What did you say, AB? We'd be one game out. Then you play against UCF, who we might beat by 100 at Allen Fieldhouse. You go to Baylor, who stinks, but very losable. But still.
They fixed the camera angle. That's helpful.
Okay. But then you get Iowa State at home, and I still just think Iowa State's just a really tough matchup for us.
Look at the last comment.
81. Okay, good. I'm glad they went up. The KU camping tweeted out the picture. It was like 20 early. I sent it to Ryan. He's got it documented.
That guy just flexed on you so hard.
Well, that's fine. I'm glad it went up. I mean, I'm not rooting against it. I just flabbergasted when I first saw the list, and it was 20 groups.
Look, I'm gonna say this about the students. Like, I'm sure maybe there's times where it's not as good. Last year, Houston, when they played Pursuit of Happiness at tip-off, one of the all-time atmospheres you'll ever see. Jeff Goodman tweeted a video of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the best part of the entire season last year. Like, literally was tip-off of Houston. Because, so, like, maybe it's not, maybe they don't bring it every single game like we did in the past, but when it needs to be brought and they play the right song, I will also say at North Carolina, KU did the whole, or maybe it wasn't North Carolina, I don't know, playing the whole like old school rock and I don't know, not what we need to be doing. Yeah, Thunderstruck.
It plays though. Come on.
Tip off, I don't know.
Well, maybe tip off. It might be a timeout with 4 minutes left.
Oh yeah, right when we're about to inbound the ball. Yeah, love when we do that.
Well, yeah, no, that's frustrating as hell. It's all get out.
Who is it? Iowa State and Houston still? Are they both tied for first? Iowa State lost on Saturday.
Houston's still undefeated.
Dude, yeah, Houston winning. Did they win on like a buzzer beater, basically, or like a tip in?
Wait, so how are we tied for first with a win?
One game out.
Yeah, one out.
Oh, listen, I guess.
Never do.
Arizona. Do we think Arizona's good and just got off to a rough start, or do we think Arizona's bad and got hot for a couple weeks?
Can't lie to you. I have not watched a lot of college basketball.
Haven't watched a smidge, brother. I'm just trying to avoid KU because I haven't watched much of KU either.
I mean, I feel like Arizona's always got dudes, so
they got your boy, future Kansas head coach, which I would like to discuss.
Tommy Lloyd.
All right. I had a moment this weekend where I thought to myself, I will no longer be surprised if Bill announces he's retiring at any point going forward. We've just seen it too much with these old school guys. We just have. The portal's got to be frustrating to him. I mean, who knows? Maybe Storr and Ryland, they all figure it out this year. But it's been Zeke and I guess Hunter, if you want to talk about strictly numbers. Remy,
but here's the thing.
But it's been a lot of swing and misses.
It's been who?
He just
Tony
can't coach
Bennett.
the same way. I mean, his way was always have 3-4 guys that are going to start DeJuan and KJ, except better versions. If it's Frank, it's Devontae. It's have these program guys and then get your studs and the freshmen or whatever. And if you're just resetting your roster every year, it's roulette. You hope. Because going into the year, we thought we had the best portal class. And coming into it now, we've got Zeke and a bunch of guys that haven't figured it out and might not figure it out.
Shaq Moore.
Fair.
We haven't talked about him enough. He hit 2 huge threes tonight. He has not shot it well his entire college career. He's like low 30s, 5-year career. He hit 2 massive corner threes.
Yeah. No, so AB, I mean, I sent you a text Saturday or whenever, maybe you brought it up, but like it is concerning because you look at it and it's like, okay, Jay Wright, you look back on the top dogs of this sport, the top guys going back like just 5 years, really, 6 years. Jay Wright, gone. Coach K, gone. Roy Williams, gone. Coach Cal, stinks. Tony Bennett, whatever, gone.
Hey.
I can't believe how late in the offseason he retired.
Yeah, these guys are, but so it is concerning. So part of me feels like, God, that is a little bit scary. But I've also heard that like Bill Self loves the whole, NIL side of things. You be like a GM essentially. Like you get a budget, you get to work with, and now you go like I feel like it's in a weird way rejuvenated him a little bit because I think he just loves to, like, he wants to be the best in this new era. Now it's not working very well, but I still think he's kind of enjoying this new era where those other guys they didn't like to, I don't know, they didn't like the change. But yeah, obviously it doesn't seem like he is. Like we're starting guys.
Feels like a guy that he likes when guys did stick around because obviously the 3-4 year guys are the ones that have consistently gotten better at KU, which is weird because the guys that play major minutes for us feel like they haven't gotten better. But
dude,
yeah, we talked about
it's the tough backs.
We talked about Frank and Devontae. It's like it feels like there's not going to be a ton of KU guys that we fall in love with that stick around like Frank and Devontae. Because obviously you don't see playing time. You just go on to the next school. Maybe a guy like, I don't know how long Flory would stay around, but it's like, God, if Zeke was at KU for 4 years, imagine the way we would talk about him and the social media content, just a Lawrence kid. And obviously he's proved he can play at this level this season. So I don't know. It is tough to fall in love with the transfers, but then you get like a Remy who helps you win an Addy and he's a legend forever.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really easy to say like, oh, the transfer portal has been bad, but like our 2 best players are transfers. Our 2 best players last year were transferred, like McCullough and Dickinson. And then you have Remy. So like he's missed on some, but I think we're just kind of forgetting that Zeke came in and was good right away. And Hunter came in, was good right away. McCullough came in, good right away. So like it can work. There's just gonna be
all about buying in.
Yeah, without these guys sitting out a year and learning how hard it is to play for self, like I think it's just gonna take more time. But
you just do the little things. If you do the little things, hustle and just guard even a little bit, try defensively, I think you're going to play. I think eventually the game will slow down for you and it'll come to you. Like if you start guarding, I think things will come easier on the offensive side. The game slows down. You're locked into the game more. Like AJ Storr tonight, his defense led to offense. He had a steal that turned to a lead out, and then he caught a lob the next possession. It's kind of like Shaq Moore, the Arizona State game. We talked about 42 points in the first half. He fucking single-handedly changed that game around in the second half and set the tone. And Arizona State scored like 9 points in the first 17 minutes of a half. And his steals led to transition wide open dunks. You can change a game. Like NBA is different, but we've seen college level teams win an ugly. And
Yeah.
I think we got the personnel to do it. Like Shaq Moore did it single-handedly that night. And we have multiple guys that play like that.
That's the one thing that keeps me going with this team is like they do at least have something that they're really good at, and they have the talent offensively to be good. Now, whether or not it'll ever work because of the way this starting five is constructed, I don't know. But there's still just so much more upside still that has me not totally out. But I will say, like, there are times where it's like, oh, time to turn on a KU game. Like, it's almost like watching is like a chore at times because it's just not an exciting product. And it's exactly, I mean, it's why I used to make fun of Virginia because it was just so boring to watch them. But tonight we were fun.
You brought up last year's team, and it's like, it feels like we've been watching the same group for 2 straight years, and we saw how it ended last year. So obviously it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And obviously we love the upperclassmen, but it felt like the same issues we saw last year happening again. And I don't know, it felt like he wasn't playing those wings through mistakes. And I know, like, we were obviously the first to admit it, like Storr was not good. Griffin was not good either, but it felt like early in the season when the games don't matter as much that they could play through mistakes and maybe the game would slow down for them. Because what's the upside of playing the same guys 35 minutes if they haven't improved? So
that's what was driving me so insane. And even like today, people were like, when KU was struggling in the first half, it was like, oh, see, turns out we really do need KJ. But it was like, we look like this with KJ. Like it's not. And again, like,
God, guys, that made me mad. That really did make me mad.
What happened?
I tweeted this, like, I don't know. People were just tweeting at me like, turns out this team really does need KJ. Like, we weren't seeing the same exact issues we see when KJ does play. And again, I tweeted this and I feel really bad for KJ. KJ Adams should be a universally loved Jayhawk. Like, in any other Bill Self era 4-year stretch, KJ Adams is coming off the bench. He's playing 15 to 20 minutes, and people love him because he's catching lobs, he's blocking shots. But instead, he's asked
Jamari Traylor.
He's been asked to be Thomas Robinson. Just kidding, but still, like, he's playing that type of minutes, and it's just like I feel bad for him because he is awesome. He is such an exciting guy to watch when he's doing the things he's good at. But it's made this offense just difficult.
I saw CV's tweet. I'll see him tomorrow night at the Nuggets game, so I'm gonna have to mess with him a little bit. Obviously he played with KJ and Juan, and him and Juan are childhood friends. So what?
We have a score update from Waco, Texas. The Kansas State Wildcats lead Baylor by 10.
Wow.
Boy, Baylor bad because K-State stinks.
That Scott Drew coaching tree is in shambles. All of a sudden.
Speaking of social media,
sure, yeah.
Hunter got it pretty good after the Iowa State game.
What's
after the loose ball? Where are we at with him right now? Obviously, he cooked on Saturday.
Yeah, I tweeted it the other day. Like, his numbers are always going to look great. He's always going to be one of the better players on this team. I just don't think I like him that much. And I mean, it is what it is. Like, I just don't enjoy watching him play basketball, and I don't get excited to see, like, tonight. What did he have? 20-9 or something? 16-9,
probably.
And it's just like, oh, cool. He led the team in scoring. I don't remember any of it. Like, I don't know. I mean,
our boy,
productive, but
our boy Evan Miyakawa was in our DMs. He runs that.
Colin?
He's an analytics guy. Did I say no, Evan? Yeah, but maybe. He's in our DMs, and he says he tweeted this. People claim that Hunter Dickinson is a defensive liability, but there's no statistical evidence to support this. Literally every single season, Dickinson's team has played better on defense when he's on the court compared to on the bench. Here are his career on and off splits. Now, I mean, you could argue that most teams are better when their starters are playing. Like, how often was Hunter off the floor with other good defensive players being off the floor? But I don't know. I thought that was interesting because it's like if Hunter Dickinson isn't a massive defensive liability, then it's like, how could you not love the guy? But I see what you're saying. He's an agitating guy.
Oh yeah, the one thing I want to say, like just to defend him a little, is I feel like the reason people do get agitated, and sometimes it looks like he's not trying, which maybe sometimes he's not, is a lot from just goofiness and awkwardness. Like he is so unathletic and slow on his feet that sometimes I don't think it's not him trying. It's that he can't do certain things because he is a goofball. Like it's kind of just as simple. Like he's 7'2", can't move very well. He can't jump very high. So it does look like he's not playing hard when I'm sure he cares. I mean, yeah, I'm sure I know he's definitely got paid pretty well. Hasn't won a ton at this level, but sometimes it doesn't look pretty, I guess.
What game was it?
Gonzaga.
Where was it? Gonzaga, where Mark Few was just like, all right, we're going to put Hunter in a pick and roll. And we were just like,
they scored 20 straight possessions. I don't think that's much of a joke.
And we just kept running it back. We were like, okay, boys, lock in. Let's get a stop. So,
what's your guys' favorite, like, we got blown out stat in KU recent history? Mine's going to be the Nova in the Final Four when we scored on 5 straight possessions and we're down by more points after those 5 possessions than we were going into them.
And we need to find the stat from the Auburn game, second round. I know that KU team wouldn't have won it, but if you go to like the play-by-play to start the second half,
we were so
it's
good.
Fucking nuts. We scored like 20 points in 3 minutes or something. That Auburn team easily could have won it all if they just don't foul Kyle Guy in the corner.
They also could have lost in the first round. Should have.
Yeah, I remember that because we played the winner, obviously.
We were getting doubled up against USC in the second half. They killed us. The Mobley twins, baby.
The Mobley brothers. Who would have known?
Boy, do I have news for you.
God. Okay, well, and so my last thing on Hunter is obviously I've been as big of a like Hunter defender as it gets, but AB, you kind of forced me into that. My issue with Hunter is I love when I know I'm just gonna get a disgusted look from AB. But my issue with Hunter is that he talks a lot of shit. He does things that make the other team mad. He celebrates, and it's like he's a great villain, an all-time historic college basketball villain. But the problem is, I feel like he doesn't then, like most good villains, take over a game in the final 2 minutes. And it's partly because he is just like, it's hard to, you can't go ISO ball as you're 7-2 and like control the final minute of a game like a good guard could. But
David McCormick says hi.
Yeah, like it feels like he doesn't. He doesn't have those moments. How that was possible
because we had 4 guys on the 3-point line ready to shoot the 3, and it cleared out the lane. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Imagine. Can I say something?
Yeah, I've got something after this.
Okay, so Cole, I was about to say, and then Cole just said it in the comments. I was listening. I listened to some of it on the radio, and I swore like Brian Haney was like, it was like a simulation where he just kept replaying and saying the same thing. It was like WrestleMania. He was announcing when Hunter had the ball under the basket, and Hunter will not let go of that ball. It will not be taken out of his hands. Hunter has it. He's got a grip on it. That other guy can't get it. And I was like, finally, I like kind of paid attention. I was like, dude, what is going on? Are they,
it was the
crowd was getting loud. Haney was saying they were about to tee him up. I thought the way you could hear the crowd on the radio, it sounded like a brawl was happening.
It
Like,
was so
and
weird.
he was announcing like it was a street fight, and it went on for 5 minutes. So
It
Hunter
was-
just,
Dude, it legitimately went on for 30 plus seconds. It was
crazy. It was like going for a loose ball, a fumble. Like it was like whoever has it last. The whistle blew 20 seconds.
It was like the refs forgot that they
Haney
were
literally
like,
said, "Hunter will not be denied." 30 seconds into it.
But it's like
Yeah,
they
I
weren't
mean-
really like trying. It's like they were both just.
yeah.
It's like they just both wanted to be touching it like the Monstars or something, and it was just. It really was bizarre, and the crowd was getting super into it, fired everyone up. I think I texted this in one of the groups. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in sports.
It was.
Like,
I have to
because
see
it was
this.
bizarre.
it never really got like aggressive either. It was
No.
just very like. Now, I thought it was crazy Hunter got a technical for it because,
Oh, he did end up getting one?
well,
It was a double.
they both got him. But like TCU had 3 guys come flying in trying to get the ball too. Like I don't know why they didn't get technicals either. But
Do you think it was just a Hunter thing?
goes back
Do you
to
think
kicking
all
a
of it
guy in the
started
head.
because of him?
Yeah.
I think it's rigged for KU and rigged against Hunter.
That's all I cheer for.
Everything's rigged, baby.
All my teams.
Well, it's bizarre, man. I mean, so many broken brains on the internet nowadays. I'm sorry to transition so quickly to the referees in the NFL. I just don't understand every time we get on. And it's only us. It'll always only be us. And it's almost the fact that because the Chiefs are on national television every single week and people don't want us to continue to win, they're just going to make shit up in their head every single time. But it's insane to watch, and it's going to be very funny to see the reaction when it happens again on Sunday.
Yeah,
it's
because
a
you're
badge of
actively
honor.
looking for something every single play.
Yep.
And,
But
I mean,
if the Bills get a 50-yard pass interference bullshit penalty, and no one talks about that. It's gone by the wayside. There's a brutal face mask call in Detroit. I know Detroit lost, even though they benefited off of that. No one's talking about that anymore. It's just like it. And by the way, I hate the rule. Both calls were probably right, especially in real time. Like no one thought it wasn't roughing when Will Anderson got him until the 6th replay we all saw. So it's just I don't know, dude.
Slow-mo replay is so annoying.
My thing is the league's been protecting QBs for how long? It's not just a
Ever.
Mahomes thing.
No.
You just see Mahomes on national TV primetime all the time. Like if you lead with your helmet and hit a quarterback up top, it's getting called.
Mm-hmm. The thing that makes me the most upset is, you know what? I get it. I was the same way when the Patriots were doing it. When people say Brady didn't have this kind of treatment, though, or the Patriots were never hated as much as it should, that's what blows my mind.
I'm the first to admit I would watch Patriots games looking for calls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it just happens. Like said, right? Badge of honor. They would not be upset if we hadn't won every single year.
Do you want to read the last comment? Second to last comment now?
Yeah, I've been getting this a little bit lately. What do you guys want? Again, what do you want me to do? Make up lies and act like I'm happier than I am?
I will say it's the older we get, it's tough to get all in on regular season games. We've talked about it. Once the streak ended, the Big 12 streak, you always want to win the league. But we used to get so into league games when that streak was alive. And now, obviously, you want to win national titles. But like I'm not going to let a regular season game affect my mood like I used to. Like that shit would ruin. I mean,
I don't believe you.
I don't really watch. I don't watch the games really that much. Like I care about them and want them to win. It's fucking January. What would have happened if we lost tonight?
Yeah, it's never mattered, and we always will be pissed. But yeah, I mean, I see the streak ending definitely did change. Like, I mean, winning the Big 12 used to be like so. I mean, I was watching every Big 12 game, calculating out how it affects the standings.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing was the Chiefs season was over by the time conference play started.
I don't not watch the games. I just don't let it affect me, and I love that. Like this shit used to ruin my night or week. Like losing the game at Allen, West Virginia game. If that would have happened a couple of years ago, that's like I would have thought the world was ending. We fucking suck. Like we're not gonna make the tournament. We could be lucky to be a 5 or 6 seed.
Guys, So I just got a DM,
Sure.
and it was laughing face emojis from our guy Hunter. And I was terrified at first. I was like, oh God, did he just hear me say that, like, maybe he's not, he's a villain, but he needs to be better? No, it was just him laughing at one of my tweets about the TCU fans. So thank God. But credit to Hunter. After this play,
I've grown, Cole.
We did cook. Like, KU dominated the game from there on out. So, maybe that was like a perfect villain move. You get those guys all, it was so corny by TCU, but like those guys all fake fired up with that horrible crowd. And then,
yeah, I didn't like that one guy.
Yeah. And then he commits a clear charge on Dewan. And then again, they call off the N1 and he's like firing up the crowd again. I think they scored like 8 points after that.
He tried to fire them up no less than 15 more times throughout the game. And I'm just like, dude, this just looks awkward.
They're not into it. By the way, this is the point I wanted to make about the Big 12, though. We did used to make a lot of fun of Houston, and it does suck that they're going to come in and just run the Big 12 back-to-back seasons.
What if they don't?
Also, shout out Chris Reynolds.
That's the thing, is like, maybe I'm wrong, but they don't have like a roster full of elite scorers. I know they still have guys, but they're not a team that's going to go put up 90 points a night. Like, they'll still win ugly. I know they have more athletes than we do, but I still feel like Bill figure a way, even though I think people have their questions about him right now. I still think he's kind of adjusting, and it's just tough for the first year guys to really buy into his system. And I mean, you got Rylan Griffin, who comes from Bama, a team that plays as up tempo as possible, to KU kind of playing through their bigs, and you really got to guard. Like, Bama didn't play a lick of defense last year. That just feels like it has to be a tough adjustment year one. And maybe that's a guy that, if he stuck around next year, could thrive.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I want to believe that this team can like still compete for Big 12 title this year. I think you got to win Saturday. Because you want to talk about a path, AB. You win Saturday.
Here we go.
Oh, I had the schedule up. There it is. You win Saturday. You then get UCF. You go to Baylor. And then Iowa State comes to town on Monday, February 3rd. You win that game.
I don't see us getting swept by them.
Yeah, me neither. So all you got to do is beat Houston at home, beat Central Florida, or win your home games, and then win at Baylor, and you could be in first place in the Big 12 in like 2 weeks. So, like, I don't know. I still stand by it is January 22nd. If we didn't have the trauma from last year, I don't think we'd be melting down as bad. The John Does and the John F., when they're not talking about food, they're pretty negative.
Here's the thing. I'm openly negative about this team. They're not losing to Iowa State and or Houston at home. These are 2-0 at home. We know how this goes. Doesn't matter who the KU team is. Big games at Allen. Who knows what happens.
That's right, Jared. All we got to do is go undefeated.
We're only underdogs on Kim Palm in 2 more games
Just
this
win
year.
every game.
It is Houston at home and Houston on the road. We're 11-point favorites in Manhattan. That scares the shit out of me.
Are we? I know it's early in their Big 12 tenure, but that feels like a place we might not ever win at Houston. Sounds crazy to say with Bill Self, but
let's just play in Mexico City instead.
Screams.
Dude, I forgot about that game. I just flat out did not watch the second half of that game. Dude, last year's team was so bad. Oh my God.
Look what John Doe just said.
What? This one? We would have lost the game if we didn't play really good for parts of the game. Yeah, you could say that in almost every game, John Doe.
I try to do some research and to see when the last time our football team led K-State 14-0. I went all the way back to 2009 and got 0 results. If anyone wants to help out with that.
What about Rich Miller? Even though it wasn't 14-0.
Great.
But
at least I saw him.
Kansas football, though, recruiting trail. Guys are just getting a shit ton of in-state guys finally.
Well, now I'm sure that doesn't matter anymore.
Nope, they didn't, because K-State didn't want him. Did you see Fitz
Oh,
going
yeah, I
in
did.
with Bry last night? How was he that fucking flustered? Message board, like, I understand it. I'd maybe be the same way, but that shit's gonna get around no matter what this day and age. Like, there's literally Twitter accounts dedicated to message board posts.
Dude, Twitter is the wild, wild west now. Like you can't expect people
It's
to
gonna
act
get
like
out.
people are not following rules. Nobody's following rules. You can do whatever you want on Twitter now. So like, that's a different world than it used to be.
It's like Brazzers, but it's just Twitter. Dude, that's all I see on that app.
It's
just
out of control.
Hooters.
It's
Hooters.
It is a very weird place now.
Cesspool. It really is.
But nothing brings me back more like KU basketball Twitter, whether it's a meltdown or us talking ourselves into becoming a national title contender. So,
can you believe Will Howard won a natty a year after Bryce Rant? Like a national championship.
It is. I mean, it is so funny both ways. Like, and I know like K-State made the right call by going with Avery, but it is still very funny that K-State was like, yeah, you know what? We're good,
Really?
Will. We don't need you.
I made the right call, huh?
Yeah, but I would say yes because
Maybe.
would they have won that many more games with Will Howard? No, they didn't have a $20 million roster. So
I mean,
like
they were still in the Big 12 race late.
So they win 10 games. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. They play for.
No, I'm trying to think. Who were their losses? They lost to ASU at home. They lost at Iowa State.
Yeah.
Who they lose to, maybe? I don't know. It's not like they would have won a national title though. Like that.
They lost to BYU.
I mean, Ohio State's ridiculous. Yeah, at BYU.
Colorado too, right?
They won.
They won at
Colorado. Yeah.
So
but I mean, all-time rant by Bry. I could have a better QBR.
One of my favorite posts, or one of my favorite videos of all time. Like, it was the only good thing to come out of that awful game was Bry's rant. But yeah, shout out Will Howard. It will be funny. Like, is he gonna play in the NFL? Surely not, right?
Rostered or like play?
He
playing. But I mean,
like,
who the hell is the third quarterback this year?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Jason Bean almost made it. I thought Bean was going to make the roster.
Only thing I'll say about the national champion in football is that just about 6 weeks ago, they lost to a team that was not starting a quarterback at quarterback. So just,
Tom Brady?
Dude.
Yeah, more or less. Davis
Warren,
to go down, Alex Orgy.
Not to talk too much about this because it's been talked about enough, but like it is wild to think that if the college football playoff was still 4 teams, Ryan Day would be like an offensive coordinator and for some random SEC school, and I don't know, Mike Vrabel would be coaching Ohio State instead. Like he would have gotten fired, I think, if they couldn't have still played in the playoff. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Fourth place in the conference, first place in the nation.
I kind of feel like they're going to like go on a tear here the next 3 years, or like I don't know.
Until they play in Ann Arbor next year on the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
but they're never going to miss the playoffs.
That game didn't even matter.
Ryan, they just finished 3rd, 4th in the Big Ten. You're in.
Yeah,
go 10-2. You're fine.
That's why. That's another thing about college sports is some of the especially the non-con games. It's tough to even get crazy excited for them. They like legit don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the SEC championship game definitely is like ruined. That used to be like as good as it gets, and this year didn't they like not? It was almost like they didn't want to play in it.
Yeah, because it was like if you lose, does that extra loss keep you out?
Yeah,
compared to just not losing in general. Because who was it?
Texas, Georgia.
Yeah. So like neither of those teams had anything to gain from it, did they? Yeah, I don't know. I guess Georgia.
Did Georgia
maybe.
not have to win to get in?
I mean,
Oh yeah, Texas lost, and that helped Texas have a
Yeah.
bit easier road
Yeah.
because they were 14-point favorites in round 2 against a team that had a bye,
like
Arizona
Clemson
State.
and Arizona State, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a mess.
We're
All right.
locked in on college sports, boys.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Honestly, John.
Honestly,
lately-
John.
That's a great comment.
I'm so
I
out
watched-
on all things.
I watched the NFL playoffs.
Chiefs regular season's kind of someone said they were spoiled with regular season with the Chiefs. Literally doesn't faze me. Now, I mean, last week you could feel it, the goosebumps right when the week started, or the butterflies. Now it's even higher level. Josh Allen, Mahomes' 4th playoff meeting. Sunday night.
What do Bills fans do if the Chiefs win?
Remember when they lost?
Didn't
4
they
straight
win
Super
4
Bowls?
straight Super? Yeah, like they're used to this.
They lost 4 straight.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Did I
More
say
or less.
win?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Man.
I think the Chiefs might do that. 4 straight.
What's the line?
I think it's 2 now, 2.5. It opened at like 1.5.
I thought we were going to be home dogs.
I think we
So
might have
did I.
been against Baltimore. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
Baltimore
look-aheads were
got
saying we would have been.
2 in Buffalo, and then you factor in. I mean, if it was on a neutral, they probably would have been 3.5.
Oh, on
right?
a neutral. Yeah. a neutral.
Just because home field, you usually get.
I thought you were
1.5
saying
or
at
so.
Arrowhead. At Arrowhead, they would have been 3.5 point favorites.
I
Baltimore.
kind of get it like, I know this is kind of for Josh's legacy, so maybe it sounds stupid, but I kind of get like a overachieving feeling from their fan base this year, the
God.
Bills, and how I know because they lost a ton of cap, they lost Diggs, they lost Davis, and Josh kind of played like the underdog role after the game, saying no one thought we were talented. To me, it feels like they think they went further than they originally thought. I know they've been in this game multiple times, but
Mhm.
they were lucked out big time on Sunday. I mean, Baltimore averaged 7.5 a carry or 7.5 a play.
Hmm.
All their touchdowns were flukes too. I mean, Lamar
Hey.
fumbles it onto the carpet.
Mhm.
The PI was one of the worst I've ever seen because Baltimore would have got the ball back, and it would have been a 48-yarder in 0-degree weather. But they give them a free walk-in touchdown. That PI is terrible. How is stuff like that not changed right away?
Well, it didn't happen.
People watching at
It wasn't
home.
for the Chiefs, dude.
People watching at home say that's OPI. Like that's either
All right.
a play on or OPI. Okay, I'm leaving too.
boys.
I got to
Go
eat.
Okay. All right.
Go,
Yeah, AB's got to go eat. So
go Chiefs.
Yeah. for $50, he'll live stream it for you guys, John F. and John Doe. You start doing that. AB.
Each.
That's value.
Yeah. All right. Well,
right, boys.
Hawks are back. We'll see you
You
later.
could be like Ben Stiller on dodgeball, where you're just putting it. Get food, he says.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We'll be seeing you.
See ya.
Deal.